This is our first responsibility. Store needs to hold application state. So in my editor, below this, below my reducer, I will be writing the comment. I will write store. And then I will simply write my first responsibility. So in this JavaScript application, we have already created our initial state as single object. Now we need to create a store which will be holding this state, and store is present inside our Redux library. So now finally it's time to introduce our Redux library. I will come up. Now this is not React application. This is our JavaScript application. Instead of using this ES6 import, I will remove. I will write here const. Then I will be writing Redux. You can give any variable name. Then I will be writing this require method, and from there I will just access my Redux library. And why I am able to access in this way? Because we have already installed our Redux package. So that is the reason I am able to access this Redux. Okay, first step. Second step, now this Redux library will provide the method called create store, which is used for creating our store. So here I will write const, then I will write variable create store is equal to, now this method is available inside Redux. So here I will write redux dot create store. But now if you see here, I am having one sprite for this create store. If I just hover on this, here I am having create store is deprecated. Why? Because now we are having more modern way of writing the Redux, that is Redux toolkit, using which lot of things will be reduced and we will not be having all the boilerplate which we are writing inside Redux. But still, to move to Redux toolkit and to understand how Redux toolkit will be working, first you should understand what is Redux and how Redux will be working. Only then you will be comfortable with Redux toolkit. If you don't do that, everything will be like a magic and you will not understand how Redux toolkit will be working. Even if it is deprecated, if you just scroll down, you can see you should not be using Redux core packages by itself today except for learning purpose. So for learning purpose, it is still valid. You can use this create store and learn Redux. Later, when you upgrade yourself and learn Redux toolkit, then easily whatever functions we are having inside Redux toolkit, you can use and you can create the store. Here they have clearly mentioned create store method will not be removed, but they encourage all the users to migrate to using Redux toolkit for all Redux code. So to understand Redux toolkit, you should understand Redux. So that is the reason I am using this create store. But if you do not want to use create store and directly you want to jump to Redux toolkit, that depends on your learning speed, how you are able to pick up the new concept. Okay, successfully we have got a Redux package and we have accessed our create store method from Redux library. Now I will be using this method copy, come down below this reducer. Here I will be pasting my method, and for this I will create one variable. I will write here const. I will give the variable name as store. Simply this method I am assigning to this store. Now inside this create store method, we need to accept the parameter which is nothing but our reducer function. Here I will write reducer. This reducer name should be exactly matching with this function name. So this create store method will accept the parameter which is nothing but our reducer function. But by this definition, store needs to hold our application state, and our application state is present inside this initial state. So now you might have question, instead of passing initial state, why are we passing this reducer function as its parameter? Because our reducer is having our initial state of our application. You can see we have passed two parameters, state and action. which is holding our initial state. And if I am dispatching any action, it is going to return a new updated state. And that updated state will be passed to the state variable. So that is the reason this reducer is required for the store to make the state transition based on the action received by the customer. This completes our first responsibility. Now this is our second responsibility. It gives a method called getState, which gives your application access to the current state in the store. I will come here. Below this, I will write second and I'm just going to paste this. So here I will write here log. Inside this, I will be writing store.getState. Using this, I can get access to my initial application of my state. Save it, open terminal, and here I will be writing node script.js. Hit enter. Now you can see in my initial state, I am having pizza base and the value is nothing but 100. This is my initial state where I am having pizza base property for which I am having the value 100. So using this getState method, I can get access to current state in my store. So here I will write one string. I will write initial state. Save it. Again I will run. Now I am having my initial state is pizza base and the value is 100. And this is our third responsibility. It is going to register listeners via subscribe method. Below this, I will write one comment. So here I will be writing store.subscribe. This store allows our application to register listeners through this subscribe method. And this subscribe method accepts function as its parameter, and this subscribe method will be executed anytime the state in the Redux store changes. So here this subscribe method takes function as its argument. I will write arrow function. Inside this I will write console.log and here I will write updated state. Again, whatever updated state I am having, I can get access to that state using this getState method. Here I will write store.getState. Save it. Open terminal. Now inside this, till now I have not dispatched any action. If I do, again I will be having initial state. And this line is not displayed. Why? Because as of now, I have not dispatched any action and I have not updated my state in the store. But using this first responsibility, we have created the store and inside that we have passed entire application. And using this second responsibility, using this method, we got access to our initial state. And third, our store allows our application to register to the listener using this subscribe method. And this subscribe method will be executed anytime when we are having any change in the state. This is our fourth responsibility. Allow state to be updated via dispatch action. Below this, I will be writing 4 and then I will be pasting this comment. So whenever our application needs to change the state, we are going to dispatch action. And this dispatch is again available from this store. Here I will write dispatch and inside this we have to pass action as its argument. And action is nothing but pure JavaScript object and inside that we have passed this two properties. But as of now, let me copy this first property and here I will be writing type that is order pizza. But what we have done initially, instead of writing this action, we have created action creator. And that time we had a question why we are creating action creator. So the answer is now again I just want to dispatch the same action order pizza, copy, and here I will be writing order pizza. Now here I just want to add another property. Here I will write payload 90. Okay, I just want to add some more property. Wherever I have dispatched the same action, everywhere I have to come and I have to copy this property. Instead of doing all this thing, what we can do, only in one place we can just paste that property. And here inside this action creator, we can simply paste that property. Okay, so that is the reason we have created action creators in the first place. I will remove. You can pass the action in that way or directly copy this action creator. Come here, remove this entire thing and paste the action creator. And this is how you will be calling this action creator. And our action creator is nothing but function which will be returning our action. Now I will save. Using this dispatch, what we are doing, we are just dispatching the action. Once the action is dispatched, our reducer function will be handling that action. So here inside that we are having initial state and our action is also passed, which is nothing but this object. Now using this switch inside this expression, I am checking action dot type. So I have called this action creator. Inside that I am having type as order pizza. So this case will be matched and in return I am just copying my entire state and I am just decreasing the pizza by 1. Now here using reducer function we have updated our state and once our application is subscribed to the store, whenever there is update in the change, this subscribe method will be called. So now using this dispatch, we have updated our state. So this subscribe method has to be called and one pizza base has to be reduced from the state. And here while returning, I am just updating my pizza property from my initial state. Once this case is matched, I am just reducing the pizza by 1. Now this pizza we are having inside this state. Now to access this pizza base from the state, I have to write state.pizza. Why state.pizza? Because initial state is assigned to state and state is nothing but object. Now to access any properties inside the object, we are going to use dot operator. So using this state.pizza base, I am accessing this pizza base and I am reducing the value by 1. And that value will be stored to this pizza base property. Save it. Come here. Now I have dispatched this action. Control J. As soon as I hit enter, now you can see my initial state is this one. Let me come here. Initial state, before I was having 100 pizza base. After that, I have just dispatched the action. Once I dispatched the action, the case got matched and this subscribe method got called. After that, one pizza was reduced. So using this get state, I am able to access my current updated state. Now if I want to dispatch multiple action, copy paste, save it, come here, refresh, you can see each and every time whenever there is any change in the state, subscribe method will be called and we are going to get access to the current state using this get state method which is provided by our store. And this is our final responsibility. We can also unsubscribe the store by calling the function that was returned by the subscribe method. Now if you see, while subscribing to the store, we are not capturing any return value from function. So here I will be creating one variable const unsubscribe is equal to, so what I have done, whatever return value I am getting from this, I am just storing inside this unsubscribe variable. Once my entire updation or once my entire state updation is completed, simply I am just going to call this unsubscribe method. Now save it, open terminal. Again I will just do node script.js. Successfully I am able to get the result. But after unsubscribing, I will dispatch the action. Currently, I am having 95 pizza. After unsubscribing, if I dispatch the action, my pizza will not be updated and still I will be having 95 pizza on my state. Why? Because Once we have unsubscribed the store, we will not be having access to the state. If you consider pizza shop application, once the shop is closed, no matter how many times you tell you want pizza, you will not be having any pizza. I completely understand. As a beginner, this is lot to take in, but let us revise whatever we have done. So here, first we have accessed our Redux library, and from that we have accessed this create store method, and create store method is deprecated, but for learning purpose it is still used. But later when you shift to Redux toolkit, we are going to have different functions and methods to create our store. And then finally, below this, below reducer, I have created my store. Inside that, I have passed my reducer function as its argument. Why? Because using this reducer function, I can easily get access to my state transition and I can get hold of my initial state. Then using this get state method, I can get access to the state which is currently available on my application. After that, we have set up a listener to the store. So anytime our state changes, we are going to call this subscribe method. So again, if I want to see what is my current state, I can use this get state and access the current state. Then finally, if I just want to update something in my application, I will be dispatching the action and that action will be handled inside reducer function. And in return, reducer will be returning new updated state. Now there is change in my state. So subscribe method will be called and this line of code will be executed. And finally, at the end, we are just unsubscribing to any changes in the store. So whatever return value we are getting, we are storing inside this variable. After all the actions have performed, we are just unsubscribing to any changes in the store. Just take your time and understand all these 5 responsibilities because this concept is foundation for understanding React with Redux.